personal beliefs, personal religious beliefs, personal interpretations of religious beliefs factor into the way we govern ourselves. In terms of homosexuality, there are great debates where that stands in terms of one's personal beliefs versus one's rights as an American citizen. And the problem that I'm trying to explore and examine in Family Fundamentals is where do these debates belong? Where should they go? I come from a non-religious background in terms of having an organized religion. We weren't brought up that way. And I always felt that one's personal religion was one's own business. As I got more interested in gay issues, people started bringing their own beliefs into my personal life by curtailing my rights as an American citizen. As I did the research more and more, I found more evidence of that happening to the point where I had to make a film about it. For my film, License to Kill, I met with murderers of gay men to find out what led them to their crimes. Some blamed it on their Christian backgrounds and how they were brought up. They explained how their attitudes about homosexuality were shaped by what they learned from both church leaders and parents. When I set out looking for families for the film, I had certain criteria in my mind, and one was I wanted a political family. I wanted a family that dealt with reparative therapy. And I wanted a family where at least one of the parents is a church leader in a rural community. And I was lucky enough to find 3 families that pretty much follow these patterns. I have a Mormon family where the father is a bishop in a small town in Utah, having a gay son and dealing with that.
My father was the one that dispensed the judgment for the church and the punishment for it.
I have a Catholic family where the father figure in this case is a congressman, a former congressman now, whose very close aide, who he treated like a son, is gay.
The political side is the part that I had to deal with more on a daily basis. What happens if I get caught? What does that do to me? What does that do? What scandal does that create for Dornan?
And I have another family in San Diego, a Pentecostal family, where the mother is a very strong community leader within her church. Her daughter is lesbian, and grandson is gay. And as a result, she starts a ministry to help other Christian parents.
So through our meetings, through my meetings, I became healed by helping others.
Have you ever bought homo milk? Did you even know homo milk existed?
If you tell human stories, if you tell stories about people and their daily lives, we can learn from that. And I can examine the issues that I'm passionate about at the same time and get it out to a broad audience and perhaps see it in a different light.
We were big milk drinkers in our household and still am. And so, I was drinking all that homo milk all my life that did it to me. So, I guess.
There's an old saying from the 70s, the personal is political or the political is personal. I still believe that. That's very much a part of what I do. This film is quite a departure from my past films. Typically, with my past work, I would have a crew and I'd be the person interviewing a person and making the contact, the human contact. But I always wondered, what it would be like if no one was around me, it was just me and the subject. Is this pretty much where all the organizing happens?
Yeah, I answer emails here, and I do write here. Right now, I was looking for something, so everything right now is kind of tumbled around. I haven't put, no.
Bought one of those cameras where you can just be a one-man band. Did the shooting, did the sound. I even did the editing, and it was just me and the subject. And I found it very liberating. What are you giving me?
I'm giving you that one where I was just printing out.
And why are you wanting me to have this?
Because I want you to read what he has said.
Oh, okay. What's the essence of it?
Exactly.
It's the first time I really served as my own cameraman. And I was only able to do that because of the new technology with the smaller cameras, the flip-out lens.
And that's the last page.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, see, that scares him.
That's it. I gotta go. I gotta go. Goodbye.
There are a couple of very intimate scenes in the film and very heart-wrenching scenes.
It's hard enough for me to deal with, let alone thinking of somebody else that I care about. Having to deal with this. Because I don't think they could survive it.
I remember shooting those, and I have to be honest with you, I wasn't so much shaken up by the moments, but I was more worried about the focus. Which, I don't know if that's good or bad, because in one way it's good because it takes me away and not be swept up with the emotion that's happening. But on the other hand, well, I don't know. That's the way it was. And with filmmaking, especially with documentary filmmaking, whatever happens is what happens. I'm not a strong believer in thinking that documentary filmmaking is objective. I think it's very subjective. Whether you're a one-man band like I was with this film, or if you had a crew of 10 people behind, you're there and you're changing the situation. You're changing the equation.
The Bible is and says that homosexuality is a sin, and it's wrong.
I'm often asked, what is it like to be filming people who disagree with you, who passionately think that you're immoral?
Really. And it's just wrong. So, you can't argue with that. That just is the way it is.
As the filmmaker listening to these comments said to me, I'm like a sponge. My job there is to record the story. My job there was to record the point of view, which is exactly what I told them and allowed them to do.
The concern that I have about some homosexuality, as with a lot of addictions, is that there's a community out there that encourages it.
What was it like for me? I was full of gratitude as a filmmaker and somewhat as a journalist to know that these people were willing to open up and expressing their feelings, not worried about whether I disagree with them or not. For me to be able to bring that back into the editing room and work with these stories, and not to manipulate them, but to shape them in a way that will sharpen the issues that I want to examine and to bring it forth to a larger audience. That's actually pretty exciting.
I truly believe that there is no such thing as a homosexual. There's just heterosexuals with
People who become
homosexual issues or identity problems.
But one thing that I found surprising was that I found a respect for the parents who were opposing gay issues based on their religious beliefs.
My son was in the homosexual lifestyle, and he had definitely had trauma. I think I told you before that he passed away from AIDS in 1994. And
they want the family to be reunited in heaven, in the afterlife. And in order to have that, they would have to follow certain steps, certain rules of behavior on earth. And that's why they push so hard to make sure their kids grow up straight and remain straight. And it's because of their love for their family unit, they would be willing to go that far to perhaps hurt their children, to perhaps deny them their happiness and their liberties here on earth, so that in the end, they could be reunited in heaven.
part of working the conference is redemption for my son, for the loss of his life.
I mean, how painful must that be to make those kind of choices? I'm not judging them whether it's misguided or good. I'm just looking at the situation at hand in their hearts. It must be terribly painful. One of the strategies I had with this film was to be able to reach a family or reach an audience that's more conservative in terms of their views about homosexuality, and where if they were going to see a film about homosexuality, they would probably just want to see a film that would confirm their worst nightmares. I wanted to show different stories to them, for them to feel comfortable and not be threatened. And one way I had to do that was to provide them with stories that they could relate to, that they would understand, to provide profiles of people they live with, of people that they are neighbors with, that they work with. It was very important for me to let the people who participated in the film know that I wasn't there to judge them. I was, in fact, very sincerely interested in hearing their points of view and hearing what they had to say about this subject, homosexuality.
Nicolosi made reference to evidence, and the other gentleman spoke the evidence of his own life. She made no reference to evidence. It is her opinion as to what the nation is founded upon regard for graciousness towards minorities or what have you.
They knew very well that what I was trying to do was look at both sides of the issue. The parents knew I was going to visit the kids. The kids knew I was going to visit the parents.
It's an alternative behavior, that type of thing.
And I think what was happening here was the families I chose all have current problems. And I'm not confirming this, but I think in many ways they saw this as a way to speak to each other. Susan must know how you believe, how you feel.
Absolutely, she does.
But you've never talked to her about this?
No.
Certainly I could have painted happier portraits, and there are happier portraits. But by and large, what I'm seeing is that as those who support gay civil rights gain in terms of progress, those who oppose these gay causes also move forward in terms of their strength. And it's as though we have this parallel track going on. The fight is still there. And I think as a filmmaker, I didn't want so much as to put in the film a solution. I was more interested in putting forth a situation, allowing people to see whether or not there could be dialogue.
We should not recognize same-sex marriage because that is a significant departure in public policy. That's a significant departure in what we define as a marriage, and I think it degrades from the sanctity of marriage.
When I show how these families break up, I'm also wondering, well, is that the kind of nation we want? Do we want a broken nation? Do we want a nation that that only wants to see a winner? Well, if there's a winner, there's a loser. Do we want losers? Is there a way for us to find a balance and compromise? And I'm not sure if there is, and I'm not sure if there should be compromise.
This kind of stuff going out on the internet and across the nation is what ultimately leads people or gives people permission to kill a Matthew Shepard.
This is a pain that America doesn't want, but is here. And I hope that this film will spur questions. I leave the film open-ended for people who watch the film and see the situation and see the debate and see the winners and losers and say to themselves, this is not right.
It's political language. But, you know, if a group of parents getting together and venting helps them through their anger and guilt, then I guess, there's some need being met there, but at what cost and, at what price?
The final statement from a parent says, we are not a political group, we're a spiritual group. And what we do here is to explore our spirituality.
We are here to help and support parents, and the political aspects are individual and our own.
But he goes on to say, we don't guide the moral values of this country.
We do that through our voting box. That's politics. What we do spiritually in this group is to show Jesus Christ's love.
That ballot box is so important in this country. And when people bring in their moral values, their personal moral values.
So, shut up. Stop asking political questions.
But when they bring it into the ballot box and their voting booth and affect everybody else around them in their community and in their country in ways that deny certain rights and creates a second-class citizenship, that could be a problem. That is a problem.